Hi guys, welcome back to another video with me, Alex, your yoga teacher. Today what we're going to be focusing on is some nice stretching of our shoulders, our back, and our lower back, okay? So this won't be as long as some of the other videos that I have posted on my YouTube, but this is good if you just want to do some light stretching in the morning to really open yourself up if you're feeling stiff, because a lot of times when we're moving throughout the week, we hold a lot of the tension in our shoulders. Or if we're working at the computer a lot, we do that. It's good for just resetting the spine and giving our vertebrae a nice little space to breathe. So what I want everybody to do is we're going to start in a standing forward fold, okay? So when you're ready, bring your hands to prayer position. I want you to close your eyes and just set a nice little intention for this practice. Inhaling and exhaling, not forgetting to take a moment to pause in between. And when you're ready, I want you to circle the hands up towards the sky, nice and slow, looking up, keeping a nice straight spine, feeling both sides stretching from top to bottom. And when you're ready, take a slight back bend. Don't overdo it because this is our first back bend. We're just starting to wake up the spine. And when you're ready, slowly bend forward and touch your hands to the ground. And we're just going to hold this pose for a few breaths. If you feel like you can't reach all the way to the ground, have a set of blocks nearby. You can either place your hands gently like this, keeping the blocks at the highest position, or you can do it at the medium position or the low position, whatever best suits you. But if you have the flexibility, even on this first round, just hold this position. Breathing in and exhaling. We're going to hold this for about a minute and a half. Taking 2 more breaths. Inhale and exhale. 1 more. Inhale. And on the exhale, we're going to slowly come up to halfway lift. We don't want to rush into this because we were just bent forward, so all the blood might just rush back to your head if you move too fast. Inhaling. And on the exhale, release back down to the ground, hands touching. 1 more forward bend. Slightly bend the knees. Slowly, 1 vertebrae at a time, roll all the way back up. Lifting your hands up over the top, looking up to the sky for a final stretch. Bringing your hands to your side for a nice Tadasana, mountain pose, and just take a breath. And exhale. On the next inhale, circle your arms back up. We're going to do this again, stretching nice and tall, feeling the spine straighten out with a slight back bend. See if you can get a little bit further this time. And when you're ready, exhale, bending forward to the ground. Nice and slow, be like the water, kind of ebb and flow in and out, and just hold this position again for another minute and a half. We don't really give ourselves enough time to go through the asanas a lot, and sometimes just focusing in on certain target areas really helps create a nice release, especially in the back. It's important for those of us that are spending a lot of time sitting down or at our desk and we don't really get up a whole lot. Make sure your head is also hanging nice and loose. Don't have it straight, just let it free hang. But it's important to give ourselves this release, because if not, we hold on to all this tension and then our bones and our joints and our muscles become tight, and then it makes things a lot harder. So holding these positions and just breathing into this space allows our body to stretch itself out. It allows relief, it allows tension to let go. Where you start to feel tension, and keep yourselves on track. Don't push yourselves to a point where it begins to hurt. But give yourself the time and the space to breathe and really get into these stiff areas. Hanging here for just another couple of breaths. Keeping your neck nice and loose. When you're ready, on the inhale, come up to halfway lift, nice flat back. Feeling that stretch, you'll also feel this in the back of your legs. On the exhale, dropping your hands back down to the floor for one more fold, and slowly coming up, one vertebrae at a time. Remember, don't rush this process. Lifting hands over the top and then down to our side. Just take a couple breaths here in standing Tadasana. Breathing in, you can even close your eyes if this helps. Keeping your spine nice and straight. Circle the shoulders up towards the ears and releasing back down towards our spine. We're going to do this 3 more times, nice and slow. Go at your own pace on an inhale. Raising those shoulders up. Releasing back down towards your spine. Feeling those shoulders melting into your back. One more. Inhale, shoulders up, rotating, dropping them down the back. Feeling that nice extension in the torso, in the neck. You should start and already should be feeling nice, straight, as if your body is stretching from the floor to the ceiling. We're going to bring our hands to prayer pose. And we're going to squat down as if we were in chair. Keeping our back nice and straight. You're going to feel a slight arch in the spine. This is going to target your lower back. On an inhale, we're going to shift forward. Keeping our knees still bent. Knees should align with our hips. Toes should be right underneath of our knees. Everything is aligned. Hips with distance apart. And we're going to twist to the right. Taking your left elbow and hooking it on the right side of your knee. And you can stay here and hold this, feeling a nice stretch and twist in the spine. Or if this is in your practice, you can split the hands, stretching the fingertips out from floor to ceiling, still keeping those legs together in a nice bent position, twisting open. Again, if you need a block for support, lay the block where you need, whatever height works best for you. Don't overdo it. We're just slowly opening up our back and doing this with a nice little twist. We're going in a different direction than we normally would when we start our asana practice. Usually we start on the mat first and work our way up. This time we're working our way up and moving down to our mat. And when you're ready, just drop your hands into a neutral forward fold position. We're going to halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. On the inhale, rise up to chair pose, bringing those hands to heart center, keeping that arch in the spine, our knees bend, everything lining up with our hips. We're gonna lean forward and twist to the opposite side now. And again, you should feel that nice twist in the back, across the torso. Try to bring your heart as far as you can to get it as close to the ceiling as possible, opening up. Again, if you're feeling flexible, release the hands, nice straight line, but listen to your body. If you need a block for support, line it up. Blocks are amazing, and a lot of time people let their ego get in the way, but having a block there just allows you to open up that much more, really getting the benefits of this full open chest, open back twist. And when you're ready, coming back to neutral, forward fold. Can hang here for a minute. On an inhale, we're gonna come up to halfway lift. On the exhale, walk your feet back to a plank position. If you need to, you can rock back and forth a few times, really stretching the body out. You can hear my body cracking like a little old lady because my joints are stiff. And then push up into a downward facing dog. And we're just gonna hold this position here for about 5 breaths. You wanna make sure that your chest is pushing towards your thighs, that your inner ankles and your inner thighs are twisting towards the back and pushing up towards your hips. If you can't get your feet flat on the ground, that's okay. Keep a slight bend in the knees, but continue pushing your chest through to your thighs to really receive the full benefits of this pose. And just continue to hold and breathe. Don't forget to breathe. It's the easiest thing to forget. And we're going to take 5 breaths here. See if you can push yourself a little bit more, really pressing into all 4 corners of your mat, pushing your chest to your knees, lifting those hips up. And on the exhale, I want you to shift into a plank position, okay? And just hold this position right here. You can rock back and forth if that helps. We're gonna kind of do a little bit of a flow here, going from downward facing dog into plank. And this is just gonna help us really loosen up the hips, but also work the shoulders. If you want, you can even move into upward facing dog, but go slow. Listen to your body and just shift back and forth from down dog to plank, and if you want an extra edge, to upward facing dog, keeping your legs off the mat. The only thing that should be touching the mat are your toes and your palms and fingers. And just experiencing this stretch of our spine. We're gonna do this 2 more times. Flowing and breathing. Notice I'm not rushing this. I'm really just embracing this change, moving into upward facing dog. And when you're ready, drop your knees to the mat and push back to child's pose, stretching those arms nice and straight out in front of us if this feels good. If not, feel free to drop your arms along the sides. And we're just gonna stay in child's pose for about 4 breaths. On your last breath, inhale and push yourself up to tabletop position. In tabletop, our shoulders should be aligned with our hands. Knees should be hips width distance apart. Back should be nice and flat. We're going to begin by doing some cat-cow exercises. Okay, when we do cow, we're dropping our belly, inhaling up towards the sky, and on cat, we're arching our back and exhaling. All right, so we're going to do 5 rounds of this. Please move at your own pace. But again, the slower you do this, the more you're going to feel the benefits of this asana. Okay, because when we just rush through real quick, we don't really stretch. We don't really feel the spine releasing, expanding, and stretching. So when you're ready on the inhale, we want to drop our bellies, arching our back, looking up to the sky. If you want, you can even flex your toes to give them a nice little stretch. And on the exhale, we're pushing up into cat position, tucking the chin in, really rounding our spine, pushing the ground away, and then flowing back into cow, dropping the belly, arching the spine, looking up, feeling that stretch, and moving into cat on our exhale. And do this 3 more times. Make sure you're connecting your breath with each movement. So inhaling for cow, exhaling for cat, inhale for cow, exhale for cat. And on your last exhale, come back to a neutral spine position, flat back and tabletop. We're gonna walk our hands out a little bit to go into dolphin pose, a little bit of a dolphin pose, more like puppy. We're gonna try to work both. So we're gonna start by moving our fingers out to puppy position, really stretching out our armpit area. You should feel a nice release in the shoulders. Drop your forehead to the mat and just kind of hang out here for a breath. And on an inhale, come back up and rest your elbows and your forearms on the ground. We're gonna move into dolphin, which is gonna not only stretch out our back, but build up the strength in our arms, building up support in our shoulders. But we're gonna move through dolphin, holding it for a couple breaths, and then we're gonna come back to puppy pose to stretch it out, and then we'll do some counter stretches as well. So on an inhale, tuck the toes and lift the legs up, sort of like downward dog, pressing into the ground. Holding it here for a few breaths. This is also building up strength in our lower back with our legs. See if you can walk them a few inches more towards your hands. And when you're ready, releasing your body down to the ground, coming into Sphinx pose. Just holding it here. Looking forward, arms should be nice and straight.